Christ is risen. Fellow Goy, Kafir, Lawai, Gaijin, human beings, earthlings, et al. Christos anesti. Truly is Lord. All right. You know, yeah, I'm doing another one. Turns out I've only done live streams lately during major holidays, especially including U.S. ones, but whatever. Today, the faith commemorated the Samaritan woman, not to be confused with the Good Samaritan. The Samaritan woman was a woman who was at the well as Jesus Christ entered Samaria. And the Jews back then and the Samaritans, they were just not, they were not friendly towards each other. So, yeah, I mean, this is a significant story. Mid-Pentecost, we just celebrated Mid-Pentecost. I wanted to do one last week. Just how time flies. I can't believe we're already summer 2026. It seems like just yesterday it was summer 2025. I mean, glory be to God in all things. We've survived yet another year somehow. But man, how time is running out, like the oil in the lamp of the maidens. So I want to cover a few things today. It's going to be a short one, a heartfelt one. I've just made some bullet points, no presentation again, just to cover some things generally that are both personal to me and theological and related to the times and maybe share a couple links. But the big thing I want to do at the very end is, well, share this video that YouTube has decided to, well, remove after over 2,000 times. I've been working on this, r- let's say, a response. Or I don't know. I'm not going to call it a tribute. A response to John Lennon. Um, Speaking of communists, John Lennon's "Imagine," something that they play at the annually in the United States, dropping of the ball in New York, Big Apple. So, yeah, I mean, I've been working this for months now, 3, 4 months. Mm, I about had it. It really is. It's the vocals that are a problem. I'm just not a great vocalist, so I'm doing my best to work with that. I've asked a few people to help me out. Nobody's committed, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, it's getting there. It got there at one point, but I wanted to change the lyrics even more. And just recently, I changed one lyric, an area that was bothering me, and I think I finally got it. Actually, now that I'm listening to it, yeah, the acoustics again. I made an adjustment after I added it, and now it looks like I have to readjust it. But anyway, a couple of polishing moments, but it's pretty much done. But it's interesting that I made this adjustment finally, and this thing that was actually plaguing me for a couple of months, a spot, by changing the lyrics and adding the word martyr. And lo and behold, after months and months, I mean, a couple dozen times of YouTube, I've uploaded this for a focus group to get some feedback, just with a couple of people. I even made it public for a minute, and a few people gave me some feedback. That was like a couple of months ago. That was way back then. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, YouTube every single time, yeah, no problem, no issues, no copyrights, blah blah blah, not a single thing. As soon as I change a lyric and add the word martyr, suddenly it goes against community standards and they remove it. And now I've uploaded this version and share with you today. And lo and behold, now I'm getting yet again, and I've already went through this process before, where there's the baseline music. It's from a royalty-free site. The instrumentals. Also, yeah, have one gentleman who doesn't even know me and is allowing me to use his guitar as a solo guitar for the song. That was a whole other site and source. Again, I'm giving him credit for that, but that doesn't do much. I can't thank him enough because without his amazing guitar work, my vocals sound even worse. So he's helped me mask the vocals. But anyway, yeah, again, not a single problem. Everything resolved. They removed this as soon as I add the word martyr, and now uploading it today to share with you guys for this live stream. Now suddenly they're trying to say, well, there's a copyright issue, but it's okay. It's the baseline instrumentals that I mentioned. So I'm gonna go through that process, but obviously you boob is being fascist, hypocritical like they do. They need to be held accountable, stat people. I don't know. Again, shame on you Christians for not uniting. I don't know why you're not doing it, but you're not. Too busy counting super chats and likes and these shenanigans. Um, I can count on one hand the people I trust online right now, and actually even all three of them are on the fence. But yeah, all three of them have discussed. They've been open about doing that. One of them said, "Well, unite. You're not being realistic. You don't know how the world works." Actually, I do. The world works when people do unite and combine their sources. Things do get done. That's how the world works, madam. Turkala. Love her death. She's got some flaws. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just bad. I don't. It's not going to get worse if we're not fighting this war, this monologue, this mass media mayhem, this conditioning of the masses for decades, generations, and how it's corrupted the entire planet beyond measure. If we're not combating that proper, then what are we doing? So yeah, I'm still gonna put this. I'm gonna try to put it on YouTube. I will fight as much as I can if they give me issues, and but I will also post it on other sites, of course, on Rumble. I haven't been on Gab in years, uh, but yeah, I'll go back to that. Post on Gab if I can. I don't even know if I can at this point. They made some changes too, ever since Andrew Torba was brought up before Congress. They started changing. I was really not going back before that anyway, but after that, saw that. But anyway, I'll post it wherever I can, different sites, and at least advertise it through YouTube, where you can find it if YouTube continues to be hypocritically fascist and diabolically backward. Anyway, all right. Enough of that. Let's get to it. So let's start with last week, mid Pentecost. I had a discussion with a good friend. We're talking again about this. You know what? Let me see if I can find it. Home Iconostasios free. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, can actually at least see what I'm talking about. But essentially, Orthodox Christians. I don't know if all cultures do this, but definitely the Greeks. They have what they call iconostasio at home. It's you know how the Bible says when you pray, pray in your closet. The Protestants love that one. Iconostasis. That's what that's what the Orthodox actually do. They have this iconostasis at home with a vigil lamp, like again biblical, with the maidens. I don't really see one, a traditional one, so to speak. It's like traditionally it's like a little mini church, but some people set up something on their shelves or something like that. Like for example, let's see, let's do this one. Yeah, this is kind of sort of a makeshift one if you don't have something. Bring it up stage. Okay, yeah, something like that. Um, you can see that here they have. Let me bring up a marker. Here's the oil lamp that I'm talking about, and the tradition is the holy light from Jerusalem every Pascha, which we just celebrated. It gets spread around, and so you take that light and you keep it lit throughout the year until the following Pascha. That's the goal. It's not easy to do. I talked about recently what happened to me this past year, and I did it in my home for the first time. Anyway, and that was really it was something that I needed to suffer to kind of wake me up when it comes to my spiritual struggle with regards to ego. But just recently, again, really kind of on the back of that. Again, and people you use different icons, but of course, you have Christ on top always, even in the churches. The Pantocrator is on in the dome. You see, the church is a cross shaped a basilica cross floor plan, and in the middle is the dome, the heavens, with Christ being the way. Anyway, so yeah, people do they light their candle and they say their prayers. They have their own prayer rule. They may do prayer rules without iconostasis, but at any rate, okay. So you get the idea there. Um, where did I go? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So I had a conversation with a friend about this whole thing about and then about what happened with the oil impact, the light, how it gave out 2 days before Pascha, and that kind of thing. I followed up with that. We kind of laughed and said, you know what I struggle with that too. Sometimes I'm doing my routine, my ritual, my discipline, and sometimes I have something else on my mind while I'm doing it. He says, and so I'll do things like Um, he said, what does he do? I'll light it and then not paying attention, I'll blow out the candle or something like that. He accidentally blows it out somehow or something to that effect. And I kind of chuckled. I mean, because there's a few times last year that I caught myself almost doing something similar. So I was like, man. So thankfully, I had my noose. I was present enough to catch myself before um, I did these things. That's the whole point. If you're not praying, if you don't, um, if your heart's not in it, then what are we doing? Well, we'll get to that. So yeah, exactly. I'm doing this process. I'm adding something new. Now we're at a time, we're celebrating a time where Christ is with his apostles. Um, after the resurrection, he's revealed himself, doubting Thomas and all these things. He's teaching them how to, establish the church. So, and then he ascends to heaven. That's coming up. Oh, and of course, what follows is Pentecost. After he ascends to heaven, then um, he sends the Holy Spirit. God sends the Holy Spirit, as the Creed says, proceeds from the Father. And the apostles are now given gifts that Christ often talked about, including speaking in tongues. And again, this is not some kind of roll your eyes back, go freak up people out kind of thing without even an interpreter can't even follow that misinterpretation properly. Anyway, but yeah, speaking in tongues so you don't sound like a fool. People know what you're saying. That's important. So, yeah, I was thinking about something else. I was doing my discipline, thinking about lighting my candle. In honor of that, I was singing Christ is risen. Christos anesti ekne ekron. So I love that, And traditionally, you're not really supposed to do it after Pentecost. So I love doing it during this time. And I'm doing this new routine during my discipline of lighting my candle and saying my prayers and not paying attention. I don't light this additional. I have an additional candle holder, and while I'm changing out the oil and the wick and all that, I put the light on the candle. And this time, so focused on the steps of what I'm doing, the procedures, focused on the steps, but not completely keeping my noose, having every word hang in my heart, every action from my heart. Instead, I was thinking about other things while I was going through this procedure, particularly, I got to do this step, I got to do that step, I got to, my favorite part, how am I going to sound? This is kind of silly. I got weird things going on through my head while I'm doing this. And so I start singing it. I'm trying to get the timing right because now I got to do a timing thing. Everything's got to be on the right time, like I'm doing some kind of service. And really, this is really a service and offering to God. It's a building a relationship with God. That's the whole point. But it's not coming from the heart. For me, it was all about the procedures and a discipline. And I lost my noose. And in the process, of course, I not paying attention. I didn't light the candle. And so when I got to the part where I snuff out the candle, the old wick, to replace a new wick, well, I snuffed out the holy light from Jerusalem. Now, this is on the back of what I've talked about last year, keeping keeping it lit for an entire year, 2 days, because of ego and rebellion. The light being snuffed out, going out, and now because I'm overzealous about the procedure and not really having my heart in it completely, not keeping my noose, I made the fatal flock. The very thing I chuckled at my friend about, not making fun of him, but that's the very thing I did. And now here I am. I mean, I keep it lit. but I've snuffed out the holy light from Jerusalem. Lord have mercy. Again, focusing on the action without keeping Christ in my heart throughout. Okay. Computer's doing some kind of weird things. Bear with me. Hopefully, we don't lose the connection. But it's another valuable lesson. Got to go back to the basics. It's humbling, and evidently, I need to be humbled. But it's also helped me realize again in that humility that I need to go back to basics. Yeah, my computer's doing all kinds of weird things all of a sudden. It's lagging. Anyway, yeah, same computer by the way. I never raised money to do it. I did make some money last summer, but I'm using that money to homestead. So new computer is the last thing. I don't even know if I'll be able to keep my job, teach online. So anyway, may be blessed. I'll do what I can, but that brings me to yeah. I mean, keeping your house swept, right? All these parables. We need to keep our house swept. We need to keep our house swept. Are we prepared? We never know when the time will be. So, like the maidens who went out and bought the oil for their lamps, are we keeping ourselves prepared? Are we praying unceasingly? Are we good Samaritans? Are we part of the body regularly? Are we going to the services regularly? Protestants love to focus on this because that's all they have, unfortunately. But are we keeping the word? Are we learning more about what God says? With proper guidance, not just read the book and your own interpretation, and then all of a sudden, you think you walk on water and walk through walls and all kinds of weird stuff. You're a prophet all of a sudden, self-made prophet. That stuff we got to avoid. Anyway, yeah, spiritual father. Again, those of you who have never been to an Orthodox church, see for yourself. Don't be prejudiced. Don't be prejudiced. Again, when I speak about Protestants, I'm talking about a lifetime of experiences, especially these past few years in these circles. I mean, my God, the things I've witnessed and endured. But prejudice. I'm not speaking from prejudice. I'm speaking from education to some degree, but experience, a lifetime of it, with all kinds. So what is prejudice? Okay. What's going on? Here we go. Let me bring it up stage. Yeah, you guys can see prejudice. I mean, you know what prejudice is, but let's go through the Google definition, Wikipedia definition, whatever this is. Wordnik, go figure. The act or state of holding unreasonable, preconceived judgments or convictions. Rather, I need to include here conditioned. We all know about conditioning and in the rebellious deviations, denominations, yeah, the denominations that go on and they love the Virgin Mary, the love of God. They're going to hell. They're pagans. They're going to hell. Meanwhile, they don't look at like the tabernacle. All of a sudden, it's the Jews. All of a sudden, they're infallible. The Jews are their saints, right? The tabernacle and King David, they idolize. Talk about all kinds of backward, unreasonable. I would say conditioned, in addition to unreasonable. They're not preconceived; they're conditioned. An adverse judgment or opinion formed unfairly or without knowledge of the facts. Well, if you ever learned about it proper, from an actual Orthodox leader that is prepared to teach these things, not just any random person says, "Hey, I'm Orthodox. Let me start talking online," or some random Joe Schmo on the street. "I'm Orthodox." Yeah, well, this is what it is. If you're not Orthodox, you're not really going to get much of a spiritual father. If you're interested, you become a catechumen to some degree, then you can have a spiritual father. Um, they're willing to help out and talk to everyone. The door is always open, uh, except for the middle liturgy where it remains open, unfortunately. But traditionally, it needs to be closed, and that's for a reason. Anyway, without knowledge, if you haven't even been to a church, how are you speaking? And that's what Baptists. Let's pick on the Baptists because they're the most common trope, unfortunately. They drive the PKs, the pastors or preacher kids, drive their own children away from God. I mean, judging by their fruits, you can't even get your own children. You can't even get your house in order. You're running around preaching all kinds of insanities and hypocrisies and condemning people to hell like you're God. Going to hell. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off a tangent. Again, this is just years, literal years of just vileness from all kinds coming out finally. I mean, I've been making excuses up to very, 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 very recently, even for Mormons, because, well, this is the magic words. They say they're Christian, so they must be Christian. Anyway, yeah, irrational suspicion or hatred of a particular social group. Again, um, even on university campus, it was started raining. Our booth, the Orthodox youth group booth, was right next to a Baptist one. We had the overhang over there to protect us from the rain. It was pretty big, so we were like, nicely, "Hey, we'll cover you up too." And they started moving their stuff from under our canopy that's protecting them from the rain. Their texts and books, and all that on their booth on their table. Like, what the heck? What kind of weird prejudice is this? Well, there you go. Diabolically backward. They can't even receive Christian charity. They're so evil. Elation. I mean, that's just again a small sample how absurd, asinine it is, how backward it is. Okay, enough of that. I got yeah. As soon as I mention Protestants, I get off on a tangent. Yeah, I can. Anyway, again, I've been back and forth on the fence about the whole wolves in sheep's clothing, the online apologists or polemicists. Whether or not I'm gonna do that, I've been maybe a couple of years. I've been thinking about doing this, and I'm still, I've spoken out, losing my patience. I've spoken out about a couple of them, but yeah, and this is not what this is the live stream about. Let me get back to the topic here. Am I keeping my house swept? Am I like Job? So here's another thing. In the midst of all this, I was actually planning um, a trip to the Holy Mountain, Mount Athos, this for this week. I don't have much free time. It's my schedule is crazy, and I can't afford to cancel any classes or leave my time slots available or unavailable because I'll lose clients, and I'm barely making enough money to get through as it is. So, and certain times of year, it's just a roller coaster up and down, and by year too. One year's like this, the other year's like that. So you just never know. But regardless, I was like, okay, usually this time of year, it's a down curve. It's a good time for me to take advantage, go speak to some people, some friends, and some elders from other monasteries, go visit them, spend some time there, see if I can find a new home, some place where I fit in. But after having some conversations, and this is ongoing, there's a lot to this story, but basically, I just keep getting this idea, this message that, well, maybe monasticism isn't for me, and that's a large part of my reservation. Like, because this is not a small thing. You literally give up everything you have to go become a monk, despite Western mass media and all its slander. I can't speak for other sects like Catholics or you know what are Protestant denominations that have a monastic order of some sort. But that's what it is in Orthodoxy. You surrender yourself completely. So if I'm being told by people, including elders of monasteries, maybe not you. And there was a time in my life, 20 years ago now. Time flies. 20 years ago. I mean, I was scared to visit a monastery because I knew I would stay there. And sure enough, the first monastery I visited, in the neighborhood of the seminary I attended, yeah, that's the way I was like, man, I wouldn't mind living here. But at that point, I had a mission, I had a calling. I wanted to be a deacon. And so I refrained. I didn't realize back then you could do both. But anyway, yeah, but my life has changed a lot since then. Since the turn of the century, my life has changed a lot. And since the 2020 lockdown, even more so, since spending all this time online with intent, doing some good works, and knowing that I'm compromising myself with my background in psychology and education, app design development, all these things, Hollywood production. But yeah, anyway, I'm like a broken record over here. The bottom line is, am I keeping my house swept? Your heart is where your treasure is. Where do you lay your treasure? I've also been challenged recently in this pursuit about what it is that I want. What is it that I want? And I feel like this is what I want. I mean, again, I spent some time on a Manathas again in a place called the desert, um, where there's no electricity even in that area, no roads. There's some paths here and there, but a cake pass. There's a couple of spots where they actually built some steps, which is nice. But yeah, no, just the Pete Pat. That's all you got. And through mountainous terrain, no less. I understand. I learned why hiking boots are so important because you don't have proper footwear. That terrain will destroy your feet. Anyway, I loved it there though. It was literally a dream come true. Literally, what I envisioned paradise on earth being when I was young. That's what I stumbled upon without even realizing or expecting to. But I changed since, unfortunately. Again, that even deviated from my calling. Ended up getting asked to leave because of it. I was at a monastery, staying at a monastery for a time as a student of theology. Even that abbot from the monastery had asked me, hey, why don't you stay here? And I was like, well, I'd like to, but I'm scared since this monastery's in the middle of a city. I'm scared that in the future there'll be a scandal. As much as I love women, um, being around this many women, I'm scared that I might compromise myself and therefore compromise the faith or your institution. I don't want to do that. So I declined. That's exactly what I told him word for word, like an idiot. Because it turns out, actually, spending about another year or so in there, and again, not getting involved with women at that point, and since that was years ago, Um, but a friend at that time was like, "What are you talking about? Nico, look, you're not even involved in women now. When you got the freedom to. I was, again pursuing the diaconate. You got to choose celibacy or marriage. And at that time, I was looking for marriage. I wanted to be celibate before turn of the century. I wanted to be a celibate deacon, but that had changed years later. Well, anyway, yeah. So am I keeping my house swept? I was invited now to go to Mount Athos by a friend. I had set aside some time after having a long, deep conversation with another friend, again, also from Mount Athos. He helped me realize that I'm not at a place spiritually that culminates. It will be a problem if I suddenly now decide to become a novice, dokimos, which, you got to do that for a few years, but you've got to pretty much be there spiritually already. In my mind, it was like a hospital, like the church. You just go there for spiritual healing, but it's not like that. For the monasticism, it's a whole other thing. It's like being ordained to the priesthood or the diaconate or whatever. You've got to already be there before that happens. So, and he helped me realize I'm not there. I've deviated from that because I wasn't keeping my house swept these past few years. Spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, but spiritually too. I've become a different person. And that was a rude awakening. And so, being discouraged after all these things have happened, the holy light, my vigil, my iconostasis, and just recently snuffing out the light again, not again, but snuffing out the light this time myself accidentally because I wasn't keeping my noose. And then this conversations, a couple with all the conversations I had before with elders and so on and other people, I got discouraged. I got disheartened, and I chose to not go this week. Now I'm regretting it. Am I keeping my house swept, or am I letting demons in and going backwards? Am I committed to Christ? Am I committed to Christ? If I were committed to Christ, wouldn't I be rushing over there right now? If I were completely proper committed to Christ, that is. My heart fully in it. My heart being in heaven. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, I wouldn't have snuffed my own holy light out. I would have kept my noose while I'm doing my prayer, with my heart hanging on every word. So when the ninth hour comes, do I pull a Peter? And hey, you know what? All these things are going on in the world. I need to get my homesteading going. Sorry, I guess I can't come after all. Yeah, I don't know you. Or dare I even compare myself to Peter? That's kind of vain. Am I like Job? All these things that are happening. Do I stay committed to God regardless, even if I don't hear His voice? And I'm even hearing His voice. Actually, I can see His hand in these actions. How He's helped me out. Because these are things that I needed. I needed to be humbled. But what am I doing? And so here I am at an existential crisis, quite public. I'm doing this for the benefit of you guys. If there's people out there that might actually hear this that are going through similar things, please remember what Christ tells us. All these parables, all these examples, the iconography of the faith, what the Catholics call Jacob's ladder, what the Orthodox call the ladder of divine ascent. Hey, Slim. Hey. God bless you. Christ is risen. How you doing, bro? Brother. Good to see you. If you want to come up, feel free to come up. It's up to you. I'm not trying to prod you. This is going to be a short one. I just got a couple more things I want to talk about. I'm just going to share a video at the end. Imagine Reimagined. It's not done yet. YouTube is giving me some issues suddenly because right after I added the word martyr to the lyrics. But I'll just share it so it can be out there and get some feedback from you guys. What needs, what needs to be done, and so on. Yeah, feel free to come up. The link is pinned. It's up to you either way. Yeah, it's always good to see you. And again, people like you, I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, not only being here and sharing yourselves with me, you've in the past you've come up repeatedly and shared some things. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? We're in this together. It's a race. We're in it together. Yeah. So, but time flies. Time flies. So, turn of the century, I still didn't get ordained, but 20 years later, still didn't do the PhD program. Still don't do this. Didn't do that. Still do the homesteading. Should have done that a couple of years ago when I first got to this new home. Keep putting it off for different reasons. And now the Holy Mountain, something I've been thinking about doing for a while. I haven't been there for years. But you know, here I am, the opportunity. I just let it go. I'm going to contact that friend and ask him and say, hey, you know what? Can I still come? But I don't know if just even for a couple of days because that was just really bad, really poor choice on my part. Um, yeah. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? That's pretty much it. I mean, that's my existential crisis. It's not a small thing to be at my age and trying to figure out the life meaning and yeah. I mean, I've got what, another decade, two tops of productivity, and I'm still trying to figure out what that productivity needs to be. Not good. All right. I'm gonna go to some links actually. Let's do that. All right. Let's talk about the censorship. Here, let me share this. Okay. And I know you guys can still hear me, so I'll just so you guys can see what's going on over here. I'll leave it this size. I won't come up on stage. All right, so this is just so you guys know. This is Quentin Tarantino is so much worse than you think. This is actually a good one. You know what? Let me share the links before I forget in chat. Um, yeah, I do research on Hollywood still. I'm still keeping that going, regardless. Even though I don't know what I'm going to do with life. Even if I became a monk, I had the plan that I would then switch to children's movies and TV shows and continue my research on that, which is something that I wanted to do. I figured, if I become a professor, that was a plan. Also, a deacon and a professor was my goal. I would recruit students and help them do these different things that I couldn't do all by myself. My focus was on portraying how Christian symbols and terms were portrayed by Hollywood for this past half century. But things like PG movies, religious movies, and so on, different genres, different groups, different topics. I could have recruited students to help me get done as well, but could have, should have, would have. I'm still going to keep fighting for that. Yeah, no worries, Slim. Yeah, I'll be here. I'm just going to share this while you're working on the tech. Here we go. Quentin Tarantino, The Cover Up. I mean, this is a guy. Let's see. Where do I have it? Here we go. I guess I don't have it. Yeah, let me see.
For this, I hold Lawrence Bender, E. Bennett Walsh, and the notorious Harvey Weinstein solely responsible. They lied, destroyed evidence, and continue to lie about the permanent harm they caused and then chose to suppress. As for Weinstein, he's 73, wheelchair-bound, and still in court. His original New York conviction was overturned on procedural grounds. He's currently being retried for the third time, and a separate 60.
Yeah, I mean, so we all know about Weinstein. Epstein Island, that's the big thing now, the Epstein list and all that. I find it interesting. I think it's a double-edged sword. Well, first and foremost, we got to stop their censorship. I can't say that enough. We've got to stop their censorship. And the Chinese, with their TikTok and their whatnots, their Discord and so on. And if someone tries to get you to do WeChat, tell them to bugger off. That's absolute CCP tool, and it's linked into economics, your finances. Avoid that like the plague that it is. But even Discord and TikTok, and really all of it, all the socialist medias, judging by the fruits. Anyway, he did a interview on the self-proclaimed king of media, Howard Stern, talking about Polanski. And I thought I had it queued up, but it's not. Daggone it. I hate when I do this. Sorry, guys.
His dialogue then
didn't back down. In interviews, he argued that removing offensive language was a
Hold on, let me see. Do I have it? No. It was at 7 and 20, 21. Okay, here we go. I think I got it off of memory. 21. That was it. Okay, yeah, here we go.
offended. In 2003, he appeared on The Howard Stern Show and was asked about Roman Polanski, the acclaimed director who'd fled the United States in 1977 after pleading guilty to the unlawful sexual intercourse.
Yeah, he's still on limb. He did a stop at I think it was England and then France. Again, being accused of sex crimes, at least one of those, maybe both. I can't remember. It's been a while. But then, yeah, he ends up in Poland, his homeland, Jew. Anyway, and then Hollywood applauds him, the Grammys and all that, standing ovations. He's a victim. Which is it, Hollywood? Me Too? Or Polanski is okay for being a pedophile? Anyway.
Intercourse with a 13-year-old girl he'd drugged at a Hollywood party. The interview was largely forgotten at the time. Then, in February 2018, the same month Uma Thurman's story broke, it resurfaced, and what people heard stopped them cold.
I don't consider him a rapist.
Right, that's the one. How can you defend? See, I don't understand this. How come Hollywood embrace?
And I can't stand Howard Stern, and I know, or at least I've heard. I haven't. I never followed the guy. Period. I did watch the movie Private Parts. I actually started liking the guy because of that movie. Now I'm embarrassed to admit that. Anyway, and not because of his antics, but because he portrayed himself as a misunderstood, actually big-hearted person who did some cool things. But anyway, whatever. All right. Hello. Man, it's been a while. Good to see you. All right, let me bring you up. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Lou Slim. Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
I can hear you very well.
Good to see you. Christ is risen.
I hope he stays up and up.
Amen. How have you been?
Up and down. I hope you've been well. I've seen you around a couple of times, but you missed me on occasion.
Yeah, I just been this past, I don't know, it's been months now. Almost, it feels like it's been almost a year. I've just realized, well, look, getting into the soul streaming thing, I knew it was going to mess me up, but it's gotten bad. And so I just, for my own sake, I had to take a break from it.
No, that's what you do.
But, being a creature of habit, even though I'm not creating content, I keep going to other people's stuff. So it's really the same difference.
It's less bother if you're on someone else's forum, isn't it?
Yeah. And, there's this one channel. And also, I've cut down a lot on the people I follow. It's a small list now. One of them is a guy that goes by Made by Jim Bob. He's an interesting character. I have a lot of reservations about him too. I've talked about that, but anyway, he did this other spin-off channel. He just recently became Orthodox. I think it's now been almost a year that he's become Orthodox. But yeah, within that time, he created this channel called Ortho Thugs. I couldn't quite figure out what that's about. I don't know, Slim. Have you heard of a term Ortho Bros?
You know, on the mainstream media, some of the larger channels have heard it, but it seems to be that a lot of modern people is talking about being Orthodox rather than actual Orthodox Christians. Because
Right.
Orthodox Christians would never actually use the phrase orthobro or orthodox or whatever they're terming it.
Preach it. Thank you for saying that. That's exactly what I'm trying to express. Exactly. Thank you, bro.
I'll say,
Yeah.
you know, I've said before, I have a difficult. In fact, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you my latest read.
Yeah, I mean, and then the back of that, Ortho Bros, the whole vanity, Ortho Thugs, weirdest names. Ah, okay. All right. Joyce Mayer, interesting. All right. I've heard of the name. I'm not familiar with the book. Oh, well, that I'm
I'm
familiar
sure
with the
you're
Bible.
familiar with the book.
The Bible, yeah. All right, Joyce Mayer. I know that name. I think maybe my king. I have a
And her son does a lot of lectures also on YouTube. He's not a young fella. He's quite mature, but he does metaphysics and such like also. It's very interesting, right? But a bit long-winded. That is hard going, to be honest. It's, I don't know, not so much hard to understand, but hard to swallow a lot of it.
Okay. What do you mean?
Well, our view on Christianity seems to be mixed with science.
Yeah, okay.
So it's actually, it's one of the things. It's like trying to explain Kafka. Have you read Franz Kafka?
No.
Not well. See, if you read one page of it, you'll realise that you can't really explain it to somebody. You'd have to just read it, right? And although it is a Bible, other explanations that go alongside it, they seem to be divergent to everybody else's opinion in the world, you know?
Right.
No, that's an amplified, enhanced Bible where it's like a study Bible where you've got the chapter and verse and then you've got opinion. Right?
Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, I see. So I may have been warned about, just so you'll know. Have you ever seen a guy who came up here a few times? I'm not sure if he was, anyways, he was back then he was going for Four Mormons. That's the name that he was using. Did you see that guy, Phil? Four Mormons?
I'm not sure.
Uh,
I don't remember, to be honest.
yeah, we did a conversation. I can't remember if it was backstage or live, but at any rate, he warned me. Actually, it was backstage. Yeah, this is when we discovered like the online Bibles, that how they were contradicting things in a written Bible. But he talked about certain publishing companies that I need to be careful of when it comes to Bibles, including the one I was using. But I think he may have mentioned Joyce Mayer. I'm not sure. But Joyce Mayer, I guess, has a megachurch, and there's some kind of controversy with her. Is that right?
I don't know if it's so much. I don't think it's so much controversy as confusion. Yeah, to be simple, yeah, there is kind of a buzz around her, but it's not that she's seen as being like fraudulent or anything. It's just, it's like she was a 1960s hippie that fun God sort of thing, and her views just it's very hard to explain. You really need to read the side notes to go with the Bible on it, right? To understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of metaphysics and a lot of could have beens and might have beens and she thinks. It's not like a classic interpretation of the Orthodox book.
Right.
There's no anything far wrong with it, I would say. It's quite an interesting read. But it's certainly a wee bit, you sit going, she can take drugs.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Like, first, I can't. I shouldn't even be speaking about the stuff that I've talked about. And I've said that before. I don't know. I mean, I'm torn about that. I don't feel right about keeping my silence about things that I feel like I do know or am qualified to speak on. But yeah, I've also realized there's people that are much more well equipped to do this kind of dialogue that are out there doing a much better job than I ever can. So, and that makes me realize, yeah, I need to be careful how far I go with this stuff. My point is, I want to say about the Bibles. You know, I want to be able to offer people, well, go to this Bible, that Bible, but I really don't know that much about, which.
Well,
I mean,
one of the Bible sites, I'll call it up in the background and I'll let you know what it is.
Yeah.
They actually have every version, King George V, New English, all the rest of it, every version of the Bible on the one site.
Well, Phil kept promoting the Blue Letter Bible, and I think Eric from I could be wrong, but anyways, definitely Phil was promoting that. I mean, I can't swear by it. Of course, as print, I would recommend the Orthodox Study Bible. But as someone who's not qualified to speak on it, I even have my reservations about that. Whatever that's worth.
Honestly, see if it's in paper. I would go and look for a pre-war or a war era Bible for the 40s, and you can get them out of the likes of the Goodwill stores and such like at very little money, and that's the easiest way to go about it because all the older King James Bibles are almost identical. I've got several.
Yeah.
And they're literally identical in their text.
Yeah.
If you go for the 40s.
Hey, Janice.
They're freely available because everybody had one in the 40s.
Yeah, and I've heard that before too. I mean, I'd love to find something like that. I mean, even Orthodox leaders say, they've got these Bible courses and so on that are expensive, but they're saying if you can't afford something like that or whatever, or some of them do, the King James version or older version is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You even see a lot of English translations borrowing from that. Sorry, go on.
Well, that's right. And as I said, the books are available in like charity shops, Goodwill shops for very little money. So they're not worth your bank balance,
That's interesting. I don't know if I've find something about that here. No, yeah. So Janice says hello. By the way, I'm sure you guys see each other in stream all the time. Not confusing me. Anyway, yeah. We'll just leave it at that. As far as Bibles go. You want to speak? I hate to ask you this. I don't want to put you on the spot, but did you hear anything? Did you hear about my existential crisis earlier in the live stream? Did you hear any of that?
No, I did not. No.
Okay. Yeah, you've been spared. It was one of those woe is me talks, but really just trying to put myself out there and some of the things that I realized recently that I need to do. Again, the ego. Recently I talked about how okay, so Orthodox or some Orthodox people, they have something called an iconostasis. They have like a little corner, like a closet, where they keep their icons and a little vigil light, and this light is supposed to be the holy light from Pascha, from Easter, where you bring it home from church, and you keep it lit all year long, along with your prayer rule and so on.
Right.
Well, for the first time I did it last year, and I somehow managed to keep it going pretty much throughout the year. And it was Holy Week, and this year, State of Israel was not allowing people, the Orthodox Catholics for sure, to enter the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. So that what they do is they go to the Holy Sepulchre, and this light every year during Pascha it miraculously appears, and people share it, and they take this light and they quickly travel, different places of the world in a lantern so they can share it. It's not. I'm not saying that everyone that has a light has this specific light from Jerusalem, but it's a tradition that started obviously at the Holy Sepulchre, and it's something that they try to keep and spread around. Anyway, so last year I got this light and I kept it going. This year they weren't allowing us to go. So someone said, "Hey, why don't maybe you can give it to your local parish?" And I was like, "Sure." So I think it was a Wednesday during Holy Week, something like that, Wednesday, Thursday. I approached my priest, say, "You know what, so and so." I was like, "Okay, cool. We get it from you. Come Saturday," and so on. I was like, "Great." Thursday night is the Passion service where Christ gets crucified. It's to me, it's the most emotional service because they do this thing like I don't know, but it's like the nailing of the cross. During the readings, you have 12 gospel readings. It's probably the longest service of Holy Week. Yeah. Anyway, so I can't remember honestly at this point. Memory's shot. I can't remember if it was that service or a Friday night service. Might have been the Friday night service. Where oh yeah, it was a Friday night service. I didn't go, and that night, 2 days before we're going to celebrate Pascha, I was supposed to bring um, the light in my home extinguishes on its own.
There's no breeze.
Yeah. So, and it was kind of weird because when I took on what happened was I took on this responsibility, like, okay, you know what? It was ego. I got the light. Let me share it. Blah blah blah. But I began becoming resentful. Like, man, now I got to do this. I got to keep the light. Oh, I've got to do this other thing. Now I've got to go do my prayer roll. I was becoming angry at God all of a sudden. So, in addition to becoming egotistical and slothful, I was also becoming rebellious all of a sudden. And the light extinguished. Completely humbling. Something I needed.
I would say nobody's perfect.
Pardon?
Nobody's perfect.
Well,
that's why we need the light. But the light going out, maybe you needed that as a reminder.
Yeah.
I will say that even the eternal oils that are anointed, they need refilled every once in a while,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take too much into it and take it upon yourself.
Yeah.
See that breeze that come through the window? A theologist would say that breeze was pushed by God.
Right. Well, it's ironic you say that because the wick, it's like a little oil lamp, and there's a floating wick. The wick was actually cut in half. It was broken. So the wick was kind of broken, and the fire was pushed into the oil, the water, so it could extinguish. Weirdest thing. There you go.
The flame burns forever. It's the spirit that you're keeping alive rather than the flame, remember?
Well, here's the other thing. I told my priest about it. I mean, I had to, obviously. Right afterward, I went to him and said, "Look, the light. I have to tell you, it extinguished." And he's like, "Oh, you got," and I was like, "I feel horrible." He's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I feel horrible too. What are you gonna do?" And he kept on going, like nothing happened, right? And I was like, "Whoa!" It kind of made me feel worse, but it helped me realize exactly what you're saying. Like, even afterward, after realizing this, I had ego about, oh my, I'm going to provide the light and all that. By the way, Jerusalem did allow the Orthodox to get the light, thankfully. But I'm still even listen to me. I'm still going on about it weeks later.
It must have meant something to you. It was
Yeah.
obviously, you know what I mean? It was obviously something that was important to you, the thought of it.
Yeah. It did open a debate. What do you mean?
I was responding to just Janice says it's a blessing now.
Yeah.
It says it did open a debate. Maybe it's
Yeah.
destiny. I mean, I've seen you here. I switched my computer on and the first what do you call it, notification up
Oh, really?
was your
Cool.
channel. I says, oh, there's Nico. I'm going to click on and see how he's going.
Sweet.
And I don't think you'd been on very long, had you?
Maybe let's see. Oh yeah, now an hour. So half an hour at least before you got on here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, well, it's good. At least you got some notification. That's good to know. I was actually part of the complaint was, yeah, imagine reimagined. I'm going to show that at the end of the live stream. But it's something I've been working on for months. So in the United States, we've got the dropping of the ball in New York City that they televise every year.
New Year.
Yeah, and every year they play John Lennon's Imagine. Very, very atheist, very anti-Christian or whatnot, but they play it every year, and that always bothered me. I wasn't always a religious fanatic or whatever, like I come off now, but it still bothered me even back then. But yeah, finally with all this stuff, I got fed up. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own version. So I rewrote the lyrics, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic, kind of inspired, but it's turned into more just addressing every issue lyrically. And of course, the video, it's like a montage, like my intro with a bunch of images. You can compare, contrast, kind of see the writing on the wall. Anyway, so I've been working on this for months now. The biggest problem is my vocals, but and along the way, every time I post it to share with someone to get feedback, post it privately on YouTube, it's not been an issue. I've got no copyright issues or whatever for months now.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of days ago, I finally fixed one of the things that's really been plaguing me by changing the lyric and adding the word martyr. And suddenly, YouTube takes the video down. I don't know if I don't know if it's because of the word martyr, but that's interesting that it happened right after that. So
YouTube's algorithm is quite stringent, though. I mean, it's been a frequenter of the chats, the chat boxes at the side. There's a lot of words you just can't use in them, and a lot of them bemuse you as to why you can't type them in. They're not offensive, they're not threatening, they're no anything. You just can't use certain words. That's the problem with it. Although it says slim underneath this here, I have to use the Falconelli because having used Slim's been around since the dawn of the internet, that avatar, that name, right? That's now like 25-year-old. So I've had opinions.
Yeah.
And a lot of the social matters that go on. And you only have to get a few in all the years and that's it, it's blocked. I now can't make comment under a video as Slim. I have to use this.
That's interesting. I mean, it's also, I've noticed, at least on my end,
It's also offensive. I don't consider anything I've ever said actually offensive.
Yeah, I mean, I push the envelope. Part of the reason I push the envelope, one of the reasons, of course, is just to meet them where they're at. Use the same language that the media is using. My goal was to reach the left or whatever you want to call them. But the other reason is because I want to test or push the limit of what we're allowed to not, what we are allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. So, and I'm glad some other content creators are doing the same thing. But it seems like some places I go to, you can't write anything without it being censored to some degree. I mean, it feels like just about everything's censored on their platforms, while other platforms like mine, actually, I do get comparatively, I get away with a lot of stuff, at least according to what they say. Like this whole unalive thing, people got to stop doing that. using that word unalive?
A lot of times it's simply the subject that you picked as well, rather than anything you've actually said. There are some subjects in the UK that you can barely speak of at all
Oof.
without getting banned.
Yeah,
And in
you
fact,
guys-
I was on a channel earlier today, right? And the guy that ran the channel, he was wrong. He was talking about something and he was wrong. And several people in his own chat, contributors, had said to him, "That's wrong. You said this, and that's not the case." And including me, he banned 10 people for his list. He's pretty much wiped out his own channel.
you see, and that's the other thing. It's become like cancel culture has become a little culture where people are actually proud that they're acting like a communist.
See, the information he was giving out was false, right? It was mistake. And it really took a huff because basically half his chat were up in arms at him, right? And he, in his own words, "I'm going on a banning spree.
Right.
I'm banning the lot." He's pretty much
Yeah.
banned his whole chat.
Yeah, I mean, and then the mods, that brings up the conversation of mods, how much control mods have, and how maybe content creators aren't aware of who they're banning and they're not banning, or who they're ghost shadowing, or what do you call it, ghosting.
Well, we met on a channel originally. Do you remember?
No,
Big News.
I don't. So what?
The Big News London.
No.
That was the channel we originally met on.
How does it? What? I'm sorry.
The Big News of London
Yeah.
from Hyde Park.
Oh no. I missed it. Is that when did that happen?
That's a channel that I first seen your name on.
Can you share that in the private chat so I can share it?
I'm not a part of it. That's what I was going to say. One of his moderators, called LTG.
Okay, let's call him out.
Well, she basically caused so much trouble, one of the moderators, that his channel went to several hundred at the time to like 23 people.
Wow.
Right? And I later found out that she was hounding me. I found it quite funny, but for some reason she'd have been her bonnet about me. I think it's because I wasn't really bothered that she was doing this. She was looking for money, and quite a few people had asked her what the money was for. And I think it was me and several other people who thought it was a fraud. That's why we all got kicked and blocked. But she was involved as a moderator with quite a number of other channels that she'd weaseled her way into. And we later found out she got blocked for about 10 or 12 channels, not just as a moderator, but even as a user. She was posting these, what does it call it? You know, you collect the money. GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. What do they call
crowdfunding?
Yeah.
And I suspect that they were all going straight to her bank account. But she was doing it on quite a number of different channels.
Wow. That's crafty. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. There you go. I mean, there's been a couple channels like there's one priest that I sometimes go to. The time that he comes on is not. Anyways, but yeah, I got shadow banned on that, and he's not aware of it. He's actually someone who he's somewhat popular, and I got invited to his house by a friend, and didn't take that up at the time. We'll regret that. But anyway, and I've got him on my LinkedIn account and all that stuff. So I don't want to say he knows me, but I've had some kind of communication with him. But yeah. So his mods basically shadow ban me for defending Greeks, for defending myself first and foremost, but defending Greeks. So I had, and this again, and this other guy, a new guy, a Russian guy, or actually American guy with a Russian organization, or Russian Orthodox, so to speak, in Korea. You know, I went on his channel. He got on the YouTube list. I enjoyed his talks. I got up there a couple of times on the panel, whatnot. But like you said, one of the mods was just giving people all kinds of hell, even giving him hell, like making fun of him and all that. People were complaining about him, yet he was not correcting this guy. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm just yapping at this point, but it's not
I think
really.
as well, some people when they're, especially if they're using a phone or a tablet, they're not able to see their own chat while they're actually on screen. Remember, it might only be the moderator might be able to see the chat and the operator can't.
Right. I mean, all this is all creating the. Well, what's left? It's kind of like.
I mean, I'm on a PC, right? I'm on a PC. I've got that in front of me.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice. I look pretty good there. Nice. Yeah, that's a good look.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I've got this. I'll show you. I've got a wee mirror up here. But if you're only on that, don't know if you'll be able to see that.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
no chat. That's what I'm using
Uh,
as my camera.
okay.
So there's no chat visible.
Yeah. I mean, I use a computer too, of course. So I don't know. That explains a lot. Why some people sometimes come up and they say they can't see the chat and all that. Okay.
Yeah, if you're using your phone, I use the phone for the camera.
Gotcha.
I had a problem with my camera, and it got wiped out for some reason. There used to be a camera that sits there. But for some reason, rather than doing it with two windows, I did it with two screens and use the phone.
Well, that's why we would jam microchips into our bodies or brains, right? You know, can't trust tech.
Cameras.
Yeah.
Somebody said they could get the drivers reinstalled and fiddle about with this and that and get it. And I was like, oh, look, it's not worth the bother. I'll just get another camera.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like all the upgrades. That's another thing.
Well,
Yeah,
my operating system got upgraded, so.
Yeah, but I just don't trust media. I mean, do you remember like in 2020? Did you hear about? I'm sure you did. The truckers in Canada and even the U.S. followed suit. Yeah, okay. So that whole movement, the protesting, the 2020 lockdown and the forced jabs and all that. People were on different social media sites telling those that were holding out to quit their careers and protest. Like, how did that make any sense?
Well, they must have been facing extinction if they were going to their lengths.
Yeah,
but they got robbed through the technology as well. Give, Send, Go. Remember the Give, Send, Go thing? People stood in and said that they would deal with their money, the donations. And then somebody robbed it.
Yeah. Sorry.
There was a hacker who robbed them.
Yeah, and the whole PayPal thing closed their accounts, the truckers' accounts. Robbed me of some money. Actually, I haven't seen her in a while. Anyway, I forgot the name that she goes by, but yeah, I was trying to raise money for a new computer, which I still haven't got. But anyways, yeah, she gave me like $150. It's not a small chunk of change. And PayPal, basically, was it PayPal? I think it was PayPal. No, it was GoFundMe. Yeah, GoFundMe basically took those funds. I had another issue.
I've seen people getting robbed. If you use PayPal, they take quite a big percentage just to pay it over anyway.
Yep. PayPal through Rumble. I think PayPal is the only thing you can use. They held with funds for me. Yeah, I went to Patreon, but I don't like Patreon either. I'm not doing crowdfunding. I'm okay at this point. Usually during the winters, these past 3 winters, I felt compelled to ask for money. For half a year, I think it was 2022. For half a year, I was literally making zero money for a few months.
It's hard going, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's embarrassing, but I felt like. Anyways, yeah. Thank you for everyone that helped me out. It's not like I made bank, but um, there's a couple people. Daniel, actually, when I did the Patreon thing, he offered money. My ex partner, actually, both of them offered me money. I mean, I don't know, man. It's embarrassing. Anyway, but the point is, going
Everybody
back
falls
to
in hard times.
pardon. Yeah, yeah,
Can I say I'm rich?
yeah. I mean, what? I mean, that's the thing. That's my point. Is like, since the lockdown, they've economically decimated us and continue to do that. Now it's the whole gas thing, the green agenda, the gas pass.
Well, we've had that going for years. We've got the most expensive energy on the planet now in Scotland, well, in Britain.
Mm.
Been taxed into poverty.
It's a shame because they have it all already. They already have it all, but it's not enough. Anyway, my
The
point is that
governments seem to do a really poor job of spending your money, though. They're not economic.
I mean, commerce. They make money if money flows. So
Well, there's also a thing called the Laffer curve. Don't know if you've ever heard of the Laffer. The more you get taxed, the less cash actually flows because it shuts down small businesses and makes
Yeah.
large businesses go elsewhere.
yeah,
There's an economic balance where the less you tax, the more you actually get into a certain degree, and it's finding that balance on the Laffer curve where you increase the tax and your revenue goes down. You decrease the tax and your revenue goes up because more people have got jobs and more people spend. So it's finding that balance. But at the moment, we've got too much tax and far too little revenue.
yeah, yeah. The U.S. taxing system, and I went through that as a young business owner. It's exactly right. And then they did the whole what they called it benefits back then. Bill Clinton pushing making businesses buy health insurance for employees. Back then they called that benefits. So then a decade or so later, Obamacare, where everyone had to buy it regardless, even though benefits already existed. But yeah, that almost broke the small businesses. Those that were too small, and I was in that category, managed to escape that. But other ones had to close shop. And the tax and income tax.
See when the left wing get in power, and it's the same here. We've got Labour in power here, right? They seem to be economically illiterate.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This whole idea about quitting, people need to stop doing that. It's resurfacing again. This rebellion, quit to rebel. When you already are suffering, how is making that worse a solution?
Well, on an independent level, I can tell you how it works here. There are people who, if you add up the cost of transport to work, the meals they have to buy while they're out at work, such like, they're actually better off claiming what we call here the social unemployment benefits, housing allowances, such like, and they're better off financially than they would be in even a decent job. You need to have quite a good job here before you're actually quid pro quo with what you would get on unemployment benefit.
And that's a whole other discussion. I mean, it's just crazy. Like the tax brackets. The harder you work, the more you make, the more you have to pay in, and therefore the less you make, or it's almost
right.
get penalized for doing better.
And add that to the fact that see people that are unemployed here, they get housing benefits, right?
Yeah.
And effectively, if people know what they're doing work in the system, they can get their house for nothing, free.
Yeah.
So they're much better off being unemployed than they are actually in work.
Yeah. I was with someone who was living in a ghetto, living. She was a Section 508, they call it in the United States. Back then, I didn't know what that what that meant, but anyway, yeah. I mean, she was in a home that was quite nice, and as you said, she was paying like
They have a minimum standard, that's right.
yeah, quite nice.
You don't, if you're going out to rent a flat or a home for yourself, you don't have a minimum standard that you've got to supply yourself. So you go for what's cheapest and you can afford.
Right.
If the government are supplying it, they've imposed a minimum standard on it. So you've got unemployed or disabled or whatever, and they're actually living in a nicer home than the average working man. That's the same here now.
Yeah. That's exactly why I'm all dark right now. I'm not trying to be sinister, but I'm embarrassed of my background, my confines, my poor
I'll
homes.
be one tiny wee light on it.
This is a lot better than what I got going on. Trust me. All right. Shall we get back to this media thing? This Tarantino, which is, as far as I know, he's not Hebrew, but check him out. All right, so he's on Howard Stern, and he's defending Polanski, Roman Polanski. Are you familiar with the Roman Polanski shenanigans?
Yeah, it was. I need to be careful of the words I used with a young lady, wasn't it? Young girl, in fact.
Oh, okay, good to know. I was about to say you don't have to worry about that here, but yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, basically exactly that with the young lady, exactly. So, and again, I think didn't he move to England for a minute and ended up doing the same thing?
I'm not sure exactly. It was here for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Before him, it was Woody Allen.
Oh, Woody Allen. Oof. God, don't get me started. I mean, this the image makes it literally. It's a gag reflex that kicks in. God, I mean, I shouldn't be like that, but that guy. God. All right, so let's get back into it because I don't want to think about that guy. Oh, I gotta bring this back up stage. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Raped the 13-year-old.
He didn't rape the 13-year-olds. It was statutory rape.
Yeah,
all right.
All right.
Well, that's not quite the same thing. All right?
Come on.
Enough said.
Okay, so basically, Howard Stern asks him about Polanski, and this is his response. Let me go back a little bit.
This madman, this director who raped the 13-year-old.
The 13-year-old girl he drugged at a Hollywood party. The interview was largely forgotten at the
He drugged her at a party. Never mind, she's young, but he drugs her too at a Hollywood party. Drew Barrymore, Hollywood royalty, talked about how that they were doing that to her when she was young. We're talking about when she was like 8 years old.
That's right, yeah. I've heard that.
time. Then, in February 2018, the same month Uma Thurman's story broke, it resurfaced, and what people heard stopped them cold.
I don't consider him a rapist.
Right, that's the one. How can you defend? See, I don't understand this. How,
Yeah, so he's the R word. So he says, I consider him that. Even though he drugged her, she's underage, he drugged her.
how come Hollywood embraces this madman, this director who raped a 13-year-old?
He didn't rape the 13-year-olds. It was statutory rape.
Yeah, all right.
Well,
That's not quite the same thing. All right?
Okay. I got to stop.
I'll tell you the reason Hollywood embraces it. Hollywood embraces it because they're all at it. It seems to be endemic. From the top to the bottom. If you're at the top, you're encouraging young ladies to get their kit off on the casting couch. If you're at the bottom, you've got to take your kit off to get into the movies.
Right.
They've got it sewn up for the top all the way down to the bottom because the people at the very top level that are involved.
And it's a big joke for them. They even put it in movies over and over again.
Because they can. You can rub it in your face.
Yep.
You say power corrupts. And these people have a lot of power, especially over the young lives that want to break into the movie industry.
Or boys. It's not just
Or boys,
female
yeah.
too. Yeah.
I just don't think that way, you know.
Yeah, there's a movie,
But a lot of
Father.
them do.
Sorry.
I don't think that way, but a lot of them do, you know what I mean?
There's a movie called Father Stew, I think it was. Let me look it up real quick. Father Stew. It was recent, a few years ago. I actually like the movie. It's about yeah, Father Stew. Let me share that real quick. Okay. So yeah, it's basically about a guy who's got a rough upbringing, and he decides he wants to become a priest. It's a really moving story, actually. But before he goes to these career changes in his youth, he wants to be famous. He goes to California, and yeah, he gets propositioned by a talent agency, by a guy. I mean, the scene is perfect. I got to say, now that we're on the topic, it's just triggering a memory. I actually went through that. Not in a Hollywood scenario, but in a similar thing, university setting. Actually, went to an office. The university professors are just anyway. I went into an office, high floor, uh, seeking guidance. I was an adult at the time, um, middle aged adult, young adult, young adult. Anyway, so yeah, he basically this guy is like listening to my spiel and is hinting how he can help me out, blah blah blah, and he does exactly what you see in the movie in the scene. Exactly, he kind of pulls his chair backwards and he kind of opens his legs and subtly hints, "Hey, you know,
What's it worth?
yeah." So this actually, when I see this movie, for anyone who doubts this whether or not this happens or whether or not things are being exaggerated, let me tell you personally, no. Personally,
I've no doubt these things are going. I've kind of witnessed these things and heard about them happening myself. I've not actually been involved. I don't have the charm, I don't think, for it, but
yeah.
I know that these things do happen. Right?
And then here we have Quentin Tarantino, who one of his movies up until I think it was Crazy Eights. I watched Crazy Eights and I was like, enough. I can't take this guy anymore. I started hating him since. Again, another rape R scene. Again, this time with men. Again, similar to what I just described, actually, but extremely brutal, horrific. I mean, this guy's, well, hear for yourself. I read out of his mouth.
Enough said. It's not statutory rape. You know, he had sex with a minor. All right, that's not to me. When you use the word rape, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throw, you know, throwing the word rape around is like throwing the word racist around. All right, you know, it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for. All right, you know, he was guilty of having
porn addiction turns hot.
Okay, so we're right on cue. Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan of Howard Stern either, but I really appreciate the fact that he's like, okay, he's like bringing it out of this guy and setting him straight to some degree. You got to appreciate that.
No, I've never heard them just say a nice word about Tarantino.
I'm sorry, pardon?
I've never heard anyone say a nice word about Tarantino.
Well, I mean, his
He's got great movies, but him personally, no.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the Reservoir Dogs. I don't understand why there's such a cult following for that movie.
Well, some of his movies are great, but I'm speaking about him as a person. He seems to be despised by all.
Yeah, I mean, look at the mug. This guy who made this video picked the perfect picture for him. And if you've seen, speaking of priests and going away and coming back and all this thing, From Dusk Till Dawn, Pulp Fiction was the movie that I was promoting for the longest time, but also From Dusk to Dawn. It's kind of like a Saturday Night Fever. Clergy falls away, but From Dusk Till Dawn, the clergy is put in a situation where it's do or die, and in that moment he decides to.
He's going to be back in a second.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's continue listening to this Tarantino guy. What slips away? Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back.
Throwing the word racist around, all right? You know,
okay.
it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for, all right? You know, he was guilty of having sex with a minor, all right?
That she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated.
She wanted to have it. In other words, she's drugged. She's young and influential. Again, as we talked about, in a place where she wants to be. Yeah, she wants to be famous. She's around powerful people, and so she's coerced to behave a certain way. But he's saying, well, she wanted it, so she deserves it.
Dated the guy, and
she was 13.
and found out. Well, and by the way, we're talking about America's morals. We're not talking about the morals in Europe and everything.
Oh, he went there. The Europeans, the evil Europeans. Thoughts, Slim?
Well, I'm not so sure that whether you're talking about laws or morals, they're any different. They vary person to person, the morals, but the laws are very similar.
Yeah. How is he? What is he talking about when he says 13 and the Europeans? What is he talking about there?
Well, there's nowhere that it's legal for a child that age to have intercourse. Nowhere in Europe.
Right.
At 13 with an adult.
And that was a time when people lived to be what, 35? I mean, are we talking about like Shakespearean medieval times here where what's the word I'm looking for? God, my brain doesn't work anymore.
Even then, if you look back, these affiliations that people had tended to be political rather than in any way sexual.
Right.
They were betrothed to somebody that they might not even have seen until they were grown up.
Thank you. I mean, it's really
a lot of these connections were made for political reasons, right?
Yes. That's exactly my point. Thank you. Exactly. And again, media's portraying the exact opposite of reality. Number one, first and foremost, we're talking about in a union of marriage. Number two, there's context. There was a period in a certain area where the situation was people didn't live long. So, not to mention, back then, people were responsible. They were much more mature. In other words, children were raised to be adults from early on. They'd be trained how to take care of themselves and each other. Unlike now, where we have the 20th century, cartoons, TV, kids are just running around playing and doing nothing but, and get to go to McDonald's to eat, or at the turn of the 21st century, click on a button to have something delivered.
That's true.
Night and day difference. But yeah, of course, this guy, the hypocrite, the standard Hollywood, I'll stop with the adjectives. These people, they're going to slander Europeans.
Well, they're all the same people that attended Epstein's Island and that. That's the caliber of people you're talking about.
Right. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. People they don't talk about. I mean, very beginning of Hollywood. Do you remember Dorothy from Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the producer had her sitting on his lap in meetings.
All right.
Wait a second.
More than Europe.
Sorry?
I've heard repeated stories about different people involved in the Hollywood scene. Mayor, Metro Goldwyn.
Yes.
The mayor.
From the very beginning of Hollywood.
And he was there. The stories are endless, right? When we talk about the Wizard of Oz, I was watching a thing and it was dissecting the Wizard of Oz and actually questioning its own morals in the movie, who the good guys were and who the bad guys were. See, the Wicked Witch never actually hurt or killed anybody in the whole movie. She might have been unpleasant, stormed about making a lot of sounds. But the good witch flattened away a house and stole her shoes.
The good witch, whatever that is. Whatever that is. Yeah.
You know, the pretty witch, the sweet witch. There was a wicked witch of the north and the good witch of the south, right?
Boy, I can't remember, to be honest with you.
The good witch of the south actually killed the wicked witch of the north and stole her shoes off her, the ruby slippers.
Go figure.
And it asks you the question, who was the good guy in this story?
All right. That's a great point.
If you do watch it, I can't call it up because of the way I'm connected at the moment, but look for it, and it's an analysis of the Wizard of Oz and who the good guy was. And it's portrayed, and it links to these people. They have a public image of being the good guy, right? It's right in line with the things you talk in your channel. They portray themselves as being the good, the shiny, but they're rotten inside. Right? And anybody they portray as bad has probably went against them and said, we're not having that. We don't want that. I'm not willing to get involved in that.
Yeah.
And they're the people that are cast as the bad guys. The rotten.
Yeah, I mean, when you show me Joyce Mayer, I mean, just anybody with the name Mayer now, I just cringe because yeah, and I know not every mayor is Jewish or whatever. Not that that really matters, but whatever.
I mean, with money. I don't think it matters anything else to them, to be honest. I think it's money talks.
I think it's more than money. I mean, I think they're revealing that now. That regardless of, let's say, losing money, I don't know if they're actually losing money, but this especially is under fire, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't want to get off on too many tangents, but yeah, they're, let's say, in the red, allegedly, but yet they're still continuing this this propaganda machine. So is it really about money? I mean, again, I know there's a lot of people saying that they're red, their movies aren't making money and all that. I think it's just part of the propaganda. I mean, they've already got their cuts, their pay up front. Also, there's something where they claim that they don't make any money. They fudge the numbers all the time. So those that are under contract that get a percentage of the profit won't get paid. I mean, they're that evil.
Well, these people that pays them may never actually show a profit, because if you're putting money back into the business and you don't have any disposable income, you can claim that you are making no money. That way you don't pay any tax.
Yeah.
So their whole system is set up to, it's like the oil man drills out oil, but he buys shipping with the oil money.
Yeah.
He takes the money that he earns on the shipping and puts that into container storage. And then he owns a transport hub with trucks. Now, any money that the trucks make, he buys oil with.
Mm-hmm.
Stocks in the oil company. So that shows no profit. So his whole circle pays for the next link in the chain. None of them ever have to show a profit because the system is circular, and every time it does a full loop, it takes any surplus and, for instance, buys another ship. That other ship is then making his system bigger, but it never shows a profit. So he never has to pay tax on any profit.
I like the way you put that. Circular is a great perspective on that.
That's the way these people work. And if you're in the movie industry, you take the money you earn, whether it's box office, videos, licensing, the likes of Netflix and all that, and you put it into spending more money on.
Yeah, but that's just really them shuffling money around. It's just really the same organization.
But it doesn't have to be the same organization. It can be a parent company of other operations.
Right.
So you're moving the money, and it actually makes it harder for the tax man to find your cash because you're moving it from company to company and then paying them for their services. But when you look at who's paying the total bill, a lot of these things are hedge funds, and the hedge fund, the financiers, own everything.
Yeah.
That's an accountant. Does it hide your money?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. Let me go back to this guy because there's more. It gets better. There's a punchline to what he's saying here. I'm gonna get to that. Let me keep going. I apologize. I'm putting everyone through this, but this is quintessential Hollywood. That's why I'm showing it. No pun intended here. Quentin Tarantino, quintessential.
China.
With a 13-year-old girl, and you're a grown man, you know that that's wrong because she has a...
And I'm sorry, I can't. How does I mean, is this a Muhammad complex? How does a grown man look at a 13-year-old and say, "Ooh, that's attractive"? Number one, but number two, how does that even work? What's wrong? I mean, I'm talking about like some of the apologists say, is it like a tiny pee-pee thing? I mean, what's going on there?
Well, as long as it past puberty, yeah, an aperture, if you like. But
Kitty, listen.
I
had to ask.
think these people, it's the empowerment they feel over it more than anything. And as for the younger ones, it's always been the case. People want young, cute women, whether you're legal or no. Women are at their best between 17 and
right
25.
But then, you're developing a womanly body. That's one thing to be, a 17-year-old young lady that's looking like a woman. I mean, I once hit on a 19-year-old, not knowing that she was 19. I thought she was like in her late 20s or something, late 20s, early 20s. But yeah, and she was a waitress. So a place I was visiting, and I could tell there was interest there. So, and she was stunningly beautiful. So yeah, I started having the conversation, and as I started the conversation, started talking to me. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like something an adult would say. So I was like, okay, so how old are you? She's like 19. I'm like, wow, what? Sorry, like a little let out a death cry.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you would never know otherwise.
It's hard to tell sometimes. I mean, when a girl's that young, right? I'm talking about when they're 12 or 13-year-old because they're schoolgirls. But these people, I think it's a badge of honour with them. I think it's something they've got to brag about to their pals because it's a great big club that we're not in, remember?
Yeah. Sorry, let me get through this. I can't take this much more. I want to get to the punchline. Forgive me.
Giving her booze and pills.
I'm not. Look, she was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
And she's talked about it. She's talked about it.
You're a director. He's a director. Is that what's going on here?
I have a little bit of information on this. All right.
So sick, man.
And where did they get his information? They're all bragging about it.
Yeah. It's a big club.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean? Great point.
I think, the people have always known this has went on.
Yeah.
For its earliest days, they spoke about the casting couch and all the rest of it, right? But I think the likes of Mel Gibson talking about it being the hometown.
Yes. Remember this? Yeah, he was alone. Like he was just getting revenge. Well, now what?
And I think people are becoming more and more aware of it. The Epstein situation has actually brought a lot to light on its own. But look at the amount of people that are not being mentioned in that.
Yes.
The amount of people whose names were blacked out of those files.
Yes. Like that whole what was their names? The one that God, my brain literally does not work anymore. The two young boys that did all the movies together. They had the same name. I can't even think of any of the movies that they did. What's going on? My brain doesn't work anymore. Literally, I've become like a goldfish. Now, for some reason, Charlie Sheen keeps coming to mind. It was one of them got allegedly done in by Charlie Sheen on the film set Lucas. Lucas. Hold on, let me look up Lucas. I'll come up with the name of these two actors. Lucas Corey's, the two Coreys, Corey Haim and yeah, I mean, Corey Feldman has been for years going on about exposing people and doesn't want to talk about it. Doesn't want to name anybody. That's frustrating. He did like a pay-per-view event to finally name the person, and there's some kind of shenanigans that happened there. He got stolen. He's complaining about the money. Excuse me, fucking Jews. Dude, what the hell is wrong with this guy? His friend's dead. Anyways, it's just frustrating. But there's an example of two boys with someone being named, people being named, more than one person. And these people are getting jobs. Okay, Charlie Sheen got chased out for whatever reason. But he was on an interview bragging about how he was with young girls. Yeah, I do that too. He was bragging about it on an interview.
Yeah, like I said, they seem to be braggadocious because they got away with it.
Other ones get jobs at children's TV networks.
Well, I recently seen a thing that even Nickelodeon, the Nickelodeon emblem is that little St. James. It was Epstein's Island.
No kidding. I never thought about the logo. Always bothered me, but now that you said that, I just realized what it might mean.
Well, if you look at the logo, that Splash logo,
yes,
on the Nickelodeon channel, it has little St. James Island.
Oh man! All right, we got to get off the subject. Let me get through this.
Opposed to just popping off on this and that and the other.
Anytime a person's 13 and an adult has sex with them, I believe that's right.
Look, okay, I don't believe that's right. I believe it's against the law.
Right.
All right?
I believe it's right.
I don't believe it's right. I mean, not at 13. Not for these 13-year-old party girls.
When the interview resurfaced in 2018 and the backlash hit, Tarantino released a statement 2 days later. He said he was ignorant, insensitive, and above all, incorrect. He agreed that Samantha Geimer was raped. He also claimed he'd been playing devil's advocate for the sake of being provocative. The revelations of 2018 changed how people saw Tarantino, but for those paying attention, the picture had been building for years.
Right. Okay. I mean, and this what they're doing now in the 21st century. They've already instilled this conditioning in people's psyche about, well, if you're Christian and you complain about this stuff, then you're being a prude, you're being evil, you're being closed-minded, all these things. So they've already conditioned people to tune us out when we speak out about it. And I'm not saying that for the sake of telling people, well, it's pointless. No, we need to keep being vocal and keep fighting this evil. But I'm saying that unfortunately, for some, even when you show them evidence and all that, they either don't care or they just tune you out or just write you off. I don't know what. It's insane. Like you said, like Mel Gibson.
I think these people have so much authority and power, especially in the wee world, whether it's Hollywood or whatever. I mean, these people are emperors in that wee land.
Yeah, I had another point. I don't know. So the 21st century, they're bombarding us with this stuff wherever you turn. I mean, literally wherever you turn. It's not just movies. It's not just TV. It's all over the internet, all over packaging, all over everything. Everything. They're plastering this sodomite culture, this demonic sodomite, Baphomet stuff that's literally demented.
Balenciaga.
So people that are a victim of that stuff, and there's a lot of victims out there, female and male, they're now being literally terrorized by these people that allege that they're against that kind of thing. It's completely backward. And I try to get YouTube on this all the time. Hey, take the stuff down. What are you doing?
I think these people, like I said, they have a lot of power and a lot of weight. And companies like YouTube, they get their fingers in every little pie. They are actually trying to injure their advertisers and their supporters. Most of these big corporations are actually literally in bed with ABC Because if you go into YouTube, all of these channels, they're all fronted by YouTube now. You can download these movies straight off YouTube.
Yeah, like check
So
this
they're
out.
affiliates.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're affiliates of each other now.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that I don't have queued up, but anyone can see it. A recent upcoming Spider-Man movie. The opening sequence is Spider-Man looking at his now ex-girlfriend. He's got now an ex-girlfriend who he was obviously in love with, and blah blah blah. He's heartbroken. He can't speak to her for like scientific reasons. He's got to hide his identity. She's forgot. Blah 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 blah. So now he's watching her, and this is the opening sequence of the preview. And now he's watching her with other boys and all that, and he can't say anything. And of course, he becomes despondent. And now we see him on top of a building, not wearing his Spider-Man uniform, and just starting falling backward, like falling off the building, is committing suicide, basically. That's okay. We get millions and millions of views, and YouTube does nothing about that. And how influential that is on youth. But to say the word suicide, we can't even say suicide. Hey, suicide is bad. Don't commit suicide because God loves you. Your life has value. Your family loves you. People love you. Don't do that to them. We can't even do that. We got to say unalive. What the hell is what does unalive even mean?
YouTube is a very two-tier system.
I mean,
a lot of people don't get a lot of freedom on YouTube.
Look at these shenanigans. This is from old, actually, yeah, I think it's from old TV movie Freak, 1930s, the golden age of Hollywood.
Understanding what they
talk about
were seeing.
Exploitation.
The attraction was big enough to take him to the ringing breast.
So
and
this
Barnum
is
and Bailey
okay.
Circus, the largest circus stage in the United States. 3.
Cry Boy's
The
okay.
Lobster Boy.
Okay, whatever, Lobster Boy.
Grady style.
Nobody's talking about Moringa. And honestly,
we got to say unalive, but from the very beginning of this video, look at what they're, look at this. But now they're taking down my video that's rebuking communism, Islam. As soon as I use the word martyr, Christian martyr, what's happening right now as we speak to Christians worldwide, yet they're promoting this. And this is one of countless examples. I mean, we can go on and on and on with this kind of stuff, right?
I'd like to understand it, but I don't. The rhyme and reason of why they do what they do and who they do it to. But it is obvious that certain groups are certainly under the thumb. And certain groups, I mean, if you look at the left and right wing political arena for a start, the right wingers are out to dash commonly for words they use, for incitement, for this, that, and the other. And a lot of the left wing people on YouTube, they can openly call for the assassination of this, that, and the other, death to this, and especially the likes of Mr. Trump. And it's allowed.
Yeah.
But you can't open your mouth as a right winger.
Well, yeah, but that's the other thing that's, again, being a hypocrite here. But if we behave like they do, then we become them. And that's the other thing that concerns me. And that's been something I've been wanting to try to warn people to avoid before January 6th and all that, the comic book thing that I keep talking about. You know, cite exactly right. We're being again terrorized by sodomites, victims of sodomy. Sodomites are our words.
And it's hard now to fight back, and you can't even fight them back in their own terms.
Well,
and I don't mean using their terms. The same systems, they're willing to use lies, slur, smear, and deceit, right? And most right wingers don't do that. Most right wingers are basically straightforward, honest people. That is a large part of the problem. They're dealing with people that will say and do anything to get their ends. And you're fighting them for what might be a moral high ground. But they claim the moral high ground. You're fighting them for
Right.
decency. When they tell you you're this, that, and the other, using all sorts of words, and they claim a position of decency. But they're not.
Mhm.
They're not decent people. They're not good people. They're not honest people. But they claim to be. And they claim that you are offending them. They claim that you have done them harm by using words. They claim that you have injured them. You have assaulted them by using words. Words
Right.
which are non-threatening. So you're actually fighting. They keep talking about punching down. And punching down is all they ever do.
Yeah, before I got involved in that relationship that I've talked about, family members, they were warning me, why are you getting involved with someone like that? They knew, they were familiar with Section 508, they were familiar with ghetto, and so on. I was naive. And I was offended by them asking me that. Like, I was like, you people are so close-minded, I was thinking, and told them that. So I had to learn the hard way because I was being open-minded. And I'm not trying to say that all people in Section 508 are some way, or all people in the ghetto are some way, and therefore you got to avoid them, mistreat them, blah, blah, blah. But don't go in there like a mass media mooney, a libtard. I'm not using libtard because I know some people don't like that title, and they're right, because libtard or right-tard is the same difference. Those of us that are, including me, that are conditioned by media and behave a certain way. Yeah, I mean, just
A lot of these people have no scruples. And they see everything that is entitled to being theirs, whether it's housing, benefits. There's no shame in the taking. And they're taking it.
Yeah.
They're not being offered it, they're taking it. And they're taking it out of your pocket and my pocket. Because I'm a taxpayer still. Despite being retired, I still have to pay taxes. And I'm paying taxes to keep, I'm going to say, those people in bread and water where a roof over their heads.
I mean, yeah. Then there's that. For those of us who live in UK, US, or founders of democracy, that still allegedly vote still counts. Taxpayer money is supposed to be running things. Why are we being so silenced and abused?
Well, say if voting changed anything, they wouldn't let you do it.
I like. I got to be careful here. Well, during the lockdown, the French did something in protest that seemed to make a big impact. It was similar to the French Revolution, ironically. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, the things that they've inundated us with, they've brainwashed us with, yeah, the constructs, open-minded to what? Like all this evil? Choice. How is that an argument? We all have a choice. How is that? Why do they say they never say what they mean? Don't they mean pro-abortion, pro-life, pro-abortion? So why don't they say that instead of choice?
Pro-choice.
Sorry?
They're pro-choice.
Right.
They never say they're pro-abortion. They're pro-choice.
Yeah, you can't. They can't be honest.
But the choices that are made, this is where they're so deceitful, and they have a choice. They have a choice whether they get involved in their relationship for a start, whether they use any form of prophylactics or medication to stop themselves getting pregnant. They have all these choices, but they then want the choice to have a baby, and it is a baby removed the day before its birth. And we have that here now as well. Right up to birth, you can get an abortion. And I think the whole thing is disgusting.
Yeah. Sadistic.
And I think a part of that is there's an industry for these body parts.
Yes.
For medications, for pharmaceuticals, for all the rest of it.
Vaccines.
And it's vaccines, among others, yeah. And I think the whole thing's disgusting. It's really disgusting. But like I says, the saying if voting changed it, they wouldn't let you do it is often in my mind at the moment because it doesn't seem to matter what they promise. When they get into power, you get the same thing, and nothing has changed.
Mm.
And so many features.
That's a hurtful, but I gotta say, true statement. I shouldn't be laughing. It's just so crazy. I mean, it's nervous laughter, I guess.
It's laugh or cry at times, isn't it? What too often this day and age, you'd be crying if you weren't laughing about it.
Amen. That's right. I mean, yeah, it shows solidarity, showed us solidarity with Islam, shows solidarity with the Kung Fu, bone crushing with your hands, Buddhists, the original religion of peace. And the Hindus that treat people, including girls, if not especially girls, horrendously. We're all inclusive with that. But when it comes to Christian, no. We're not going to show so. No. You go away. You're the evil ones. It's completely back.
That's where it gets back to the Wicked Witch of the North, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that movie again now.
And watch it. And watch it for who does all the harm, despite being the good one.
Yeah.
And the trouble they cause. And the Wicked Witch, the poor Wicked Witch really actually does nothing. Gets away with nothing. And then is crushed by a house.
Yeah.
And gets her shoes stolen.
All right, so let me show this. This is what YouTube censors, by the way. They also just recently, after it being up there for, I don't know, a couple of years, maybe a year, at least a year, suddenly they've removed my Squaw Man live stream. The Squaw Man, 1914, mayor. It was actually Landry, and Cecil B. DeMille was the director. And that film, unfortunately, we can't watch it because it took it down.
I need to go here a second.
Okay. Yeah, but they're just. It's interesting what they censor and what they don't censor. So here's something they've taken away. I guess you can't see it. It's the Barbary Pirates. Again, this one's from I can't remember 19. So let's see if they have a description here. No, you can't even see the description. And this is actually YouTube Movies. This channel is called YouTube Movies. This is crazy. But they're hiding. Let me see if I can refresh so you guys can see it real quick for yourselves. See that? Flash. Barbie Pirates. They're hiding that. See, let me do it again. Refresh. Barbie Pirates. Okay, there you go. They're censoring their own stuff. They're hiding facts about Islam. This is a movie. Well, why are they making it unavailable?
Because there's almost all the chosen ones, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's sad, but it does seem to be the case very much so here. And it might or might not be the subdued woman that take children as wives. Right?
Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone's on social media on their apps and all that. This dating, we don't even have dating anymore. This is a Tinder murder thing. It's becoming common. I mean, you just hear this more and more, especially now. Uber drivers, the Muslim Uber drivers terrorizing, even killing people or raping them or whatnot. It's just it's insane how much violence comes out of these things that are being promoted, while people that are trying to warn others about these things or fight back are being censored. We've got communist censorship, communist Holodomor economically, and a spiritual desecration, corruption from the top down.
sometimes it feels as if the whole lot's weighted against you, because it actually is. And sometimes it feels a bit too much. I think the tide is turning on these things.
It's just, I mean,
I mean, the
enough.
worry is, if you look all over Europe at the moment, the world is swinging right wing. In America, Trump's getting more and more support. It may not be perfect, but I think the tide is definitely swinging towards the right-hand side.
I mean, it seems like that, but I think it's more creating a mob thing, creating a reaction. People, just civil unrest is what the goal is, and I think, including myself, yours truly, too many of us are falling for it. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I was trying to warn about years ago, and that's what I'm seeing. A lot of people being incited into chaos, civil unrest.
I think it's coming. It's certainly coming here, but it looks like it's already kicked off in the streets here. At times, it looks like it's happened.
Yeah.
And when it's going on all around you, you get dragged into it. It's like a black hole. You can't avoid it.
Well, you can. Again, sorry, but I mean, the reality is, following Christ, living that spiritual life. You don't necessarily have to become a monk to do that. You can, I mean, again, clergy are expected to live in the world while living a chaste life, if you will. So,
well, what I mean by it is, if your whole country or your whole area is involved in civil unrest, it affects you no matter what. Even the monk in the monastery, he might find he's not getting his deliveries, or the electricity's not getting supplied, his gas isn't getting there. It's endless, especially in the modern age. And that's what I mean, they're getting dragged into it. We'll all be affected by it.
yeah.
The supply chain, for instance, it doesn't have to be badly injured before it's completely folded.
And this is true. I mean, from what I understand, I could be wrong, but it feels like it's worldwide. I know the Chinese are going through that, or at least that's what I'm being told. So that's, I mean, I guess that shouldn't surprise anyone because they are communists, but according to some media propaganda, they're supposed to be the country that's rich, that's on top, that's, controlling everything. But according to other reports, they're losing their housing, they're losing their, some bank accounts closed. Some of them are getting working for months, not getting paid. That's crazy.
It's a mad world we live in. But it is going on everywhere at the moment. It's actually more obvious, I think, when you look at if you live in certain areas, when you look at the immigration problems, they've used that against us and created a two-tier system at that level as well, because you're talking about the social housing.
Right.
The immigrants are getting all the social housing, and the natives are left homeless. I mean, it's clearly visible that it is a two-tier system. When you get somebody landing on a beach in a rubber boat and cash in a home, and natives living on the street can't get a home. I
mean, they've been putting it in our brains that we're going to have this dystopian future where nobody has anything. You'll have nothing and be happy. Except we're not happy. We're at civil unrest, killing each other for every reason, including local versus foreigner. So native versus foreigner, right?
Oh, you notice that when Klaus Schwab said that, he didn't say, I'll have nothing and I'll be happy. He said, you'll have nothing and you'll be happy.
There's that.
What he actually meant was, you'll have nothing and they will be happy.
These people, man. And, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. These past few live streams for months now, when I do a live stream, I'm not I don't say usual self, but yeah, I mean, usually, if you get to know me in person, I'm always cracking jokes and all that. I'm not ho hum like I've been these past few months on lives. So, but that's another thing that's worrying me. Am I just adding more fuel to the fire by coming on here and complaining about all these things and just reinforcing or recycling, regurgitating basically all these things that I'm being fed from the internet? Is that really helping? I don't know.
Well, there's a song that covers that. You didn't start the fire. It was always burning since
That's
the
true.
world was turning.
Amen. Good one. God bless you. See what I mean? There you go. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you came up because
It's been very, very nice to see you. I'm going to
Yeah.
have to go shortly because I've got to tuck somebody into bed.
okay, yeah, no worries. I'm going to go ahead and play this music video actually. Before you take off, do you want to share any words of wisdom or anything with us?
I'd just like to say to anyone that watches it, remember that the world around you is scared and is lonely and is hurting as much as you might be at times. And
Yeah.
look for the light.
Amen. Yeah.
Bless
thank
you,
you.
Nicola.
Amen. Yeah, that's what Matthew 24. Blessed are those who endure to the end. This too shall come to pass. Mark 13:13, I think. Likewise. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Gotta take
And
care
your
of each other.
favourite saying, this too shall pass.
All right, here we go. Here my crazy
Good night,
video.
sir.
Sorry.
Good night.
Good night, man. God bless you.
I'm going to be listening in.
My little message to YouTube. Imagine there's no Jannah. It's easy if you're I'm below us, yet above Trinity. Imagine all the faithful living for the Christ. Imagine there's no terror. It's easy if you care. Slaughter to kill or die for. And no communist too. Imagine all the humans living with real joy. You may say I'm a Christian, but I'm not his only son. I hope you love like Jesus, so we all unite as one. Imagine no no need for but a loving Christian lady. Imagine the Lord's martyrs, sharing Christ's love with you. You may say I'm a Christian, but I'm not alone, you see. I hope you too will join us, and we will all live in peace. Try that again. Yeah, there's a couple of spots I need to work on, but it's getting there. It's almost there. Again, regardless if YouTube allows it or not, I will be sharing that on other channels. So, and I advertise that through YouTube, so you can please share. Get this out there. This is my what is it? My opum magnum. So, I can whistle it. There you go. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Put that in the background somewhere. Might help with some of the vocals. Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. I've been spending most of my time on that, my free time, that is, and trying to homestead, trying to get prepared for the next phase of oppression that they're putting us through. Anyway, people, regardless, many throughout world history, throughout the world, have been through much worse. So just keep your heart in the right place. Keep your heart in heaven. That's where your treasure is. And the rest will follow the wayside. So many have already shown it. Take care. God bless. And keep on keeping on. Christ is risen. Truly, He is Lord.